Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Answers Yes podcast, where we will explore the cause and effect of just saying yes in your everyday life or in business. I will dig into topics that are not just stimulating, but will challenge you to be better in everything you do. The podcast is based on the simplicity of saying yes to opportunities you might encounter every single day. I'm your host, Jim Riley. Join me in my first series titled Blue Collar Redefined. Well, welcome to the show. The answer is yes. We're here actually with another great show I'm excited to bring to you. We've got an incredible guest, and I look forward to getting into that portion of the show. You know, I had John Leonetti on the show a few weeks ago, which, if you remember, he was a director. He does all these horror films, and really gotten to know him the last month or so. Super cool guy. But he had briefly mentioned he was investing or part of this tequila company called Cascanas Tequila. They had won a double gold at the San Francisco Spirits Awards. And, you know, people know that I was in the tequila business before with Azuñia, and now I'm in the wine business. So, you know, they send me stuff. Hey, what do you think? I got to admit, man, this Cascanas Tequila is delicious. It's 100 proof. They are known for being, you know, handcrafted, authentic style, you know, traditional methods of making it, which, you know, oftentimes that's just kind of a, I don't know, part of their marketing story. But these guys, they really got their act together. And so I want to thank John for sending that bottle over. Your tequila is delicious, my friend. I had, a little bit or more than a little bit last night. So thank you for enhancing the end of my weekend. So anyways, I really do appreciate it. And, you know, for those that are wondering, Baja United wines are going great. We're having a good time. We just launched Santo Tomas wines here in the U.S. At the beginning of the year. It's really starting to take off here in California. Now, if you're not familiar with the name, they've been in the Valle for they've been there 130 years. And they do a phenomenal job. So thanks for your inquiries about Baja United Wines and what's happening there. On other fronts, I'm still recovering from my knee injury. I feel like I'm becoming a medical expert because, well, two reasons why. One, I've had enough doctor's appointments to understand what's going on with me, as well as I've got an incredible trainer. I've talked about him before. His name is Jordan. He's over at Heart Fit in Glendora. If you need a trainer, really, it's about functional fitness. I want to say for people that are getting up there in years, just to maintain your flexibility and all that stuff, Jordan does a phenomenal job. But as an athlete, he's really helped me to achieve a tremendous amount of success. And then the few injuries that I've had in the last couple of years from my sports, he's been able to rehab me. So he's done a great job with my knee. Like I said, I feel like I'm an expert. Plus, I didn't realize how many people had knee injuries in their lifetime. Everybody has a cure or a method or a warning or what you should and shouldn't do, and you have to do what works best for you. And for me, that is not getting surgery. It's about active recovery and rehabbing the muscles and keeping the inflammation down and all those good things. But active recovery, meaning I'm out still doing things safely and carefully. But I didn't realize I learned so much about my knee and injuries and the like. So thank you, everybody, for your suggestions. I'm getting better. Hope to be racing next month. So I'm learning an awful lot through the books that I'm reading and the people that I'm being exposed to. And one thing, you know, it's hard to understand what's important in your life or what makes your own clock tick or how you've gotten to where you're at. But if you can learn some tools along the way and understand what's available to you out there, it helps you be more successful. And one of those things that I've learned to identify is self-awareness. And you might unconsciously think about the things that you're good at, but not really consciously think about your own self-awareness, who you are and what you represent. And if you look up what self-awareness is, and by the way, it's different than self-consciousness, but self-awareness is about how you consciously know and understand your character, your feelings, your motives, and your desires. And those broad categories of self-awareness help you understand what you're good at. And so when you look at being successful in your business or in your job, everyday job, if there's not a match, chances are you're not going to be happy or you're not going to be as successful as you could be. So if you can focus on your own self-awareness and understand what makes your own clock tick, it will definitely help you become a successful, whether that's an entrepreneur or an employee or a manager, or maybe you're running a company as a CEO. So really put an emphasis on self-awareness. So if you're looking for something to do to be better this week, focus on that, your own self-awareness. Well, as I mentioned, as soon as I got on the air here, I've got a great guest this week, and his name is Larry Ruvo, and I had the chance to go out to his office in Las Vegas. The interview picks up from his, it's actually a bar within the facility there. They've got every type of spirit. They've got some incredible mixologists. It's Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits now. There was a merger there. But more importantly, I think, Larry's had some incredible accomplishments in the industry, but really when you look at what people do after, right, or what they're passionate about, Larry created the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health, which is a Cleveland Clinic practice there. And he talks about that. And I just think it's so important to have an understanding of the give back and where Larry's at, what he's trying to do, and the incredible things they're doing at that particular clinic in Las Vegas. And then there's others around the country. So I hope you enjoy the show as much as I did doing the interview and getting to know Larry. He brings a wealth of knowledge, for a variety of reasons. And as he says, I didn't grow up with a golden spoon in my mouth. He worked hard, and you'll hear through his story. So hopefully this will resonate with some of you out there, and I'll check in with you after the interview. Well, I am here on what is probably a very rare occasion where I get to sit down with Larry Ruvo at the Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits corporate office in Las Vegas, Nevada. Larry, I understand you brought the Cleveland Clinic here to Las Vegas, and I've read a little bit about what you're doing out here in regards to that. Can you tell us a little bit?
The Cleveland Clinic, Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health, is about somebody teaching an old dog new tricks. My father died of Alzheimer's disease, but his diagnosis took 1 year to find, and we had to bring him out of state. At the passing of his death, I was told that we should have a celebration of my father's life on the anniversary of his death. And my dad owned the Venetian restaurant for 43 years in Las Vegas. My father's death, at the anniversary, we met with some friends at Spago, where Wolfgang Puck was cooking. And a friend of mine happened to come in the restaurant downstairs, John Paul DeJory, owner of Paul Mitchell, and was the owner, creator, founder of Patron Tequila. He said, "Your friend Larry Ruvo's upstairs." And John Paul walked in, and he said, "You're here celebrating Lou's life. I know he died of Alzheimer's disease. I'd like to donate $5,000 to Alzheimer's." Knocked me over. Everybody stood up, and that night we raised $35,000. What I saw was an opportunity to raise some money for a disease in my dad's honor. That's where the mission started, was at the top of Spago. But being in the wine and spirit business and beverage alcohol and beer, I know how important packaging is and marketing. I decided, living in Las Vegas, if I build it, they will come, but I needed something spectacular. And Frank Gehry, celebrity architect, I believed would be the answer. And for those of you listening, I doubt, but a very small percentage, if any of you, do not know a family member, a loved one, an associate that hasn't been touched by Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, ALS, MS, these horrible brain health diseases. Lewy body's disease, there's a myriad of them, and they're terrible. I believed if I had a Frank Gehry building, I would be able to get a partner. And I was fortunate to partner with the esteemed Cleveland Clinic. When we partnered the Cleveland Clinic and brought them to Las Vegas, we now have the #1 cardiovascular facility on the planet Earth, #1 in urology, the number 2 hospital in the American system looking into brain health. I was told by the Cleveland Clinic they wanted to use Lou Ruvo's name to do to Alzheimer's what Lou Gehrig is associated with ALS. It's been 10 years in July. We have 5 Lou Ruvo centers between Ohio, Florida, and Nevada, soon going to Abu Dhabi, and next stop London. And Cleveland Clinic has used the foundation of the Lou Ruvo Center for their expansion throughout the world. But the marketing that I learned early in life and is applicable to medicine. Now, there's not a listener that when you go on vacation, you don't ask where to stay, what's a good hotel, where do I eat, what shows, what museums, what shopping. But yet when it's your health care, while you may take your fancy car into the fancy dealership that you bought it from, knowing you could have your car or truck done at Jiffy Lube, be the same thing, but it's you go to the dealer, the authorized service, and pay more money for your car. But when it comes to health care, the majority of you go where your insurance people send you. And that's just wrong. The Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health is a new model. It's not better. It's just different. It offers dignity. It offers quality care with some of the most respected doctors in brain health in the world have relocated to Las Vegas. And it's become a mustard seed. We thought we'd see 3,000 or 4,000 patients a year. The building was designed by Frank Gehry in 20 years to hold 20,000. In year 5, we've seen over 20,000. Now this year, year 9, we're over 30,000. So expansion is on the horizon. Each of you listening need to know about the quality of healthcare, the quality of the physicians you're seeing, the quality of the imaging equipment. None of you, I don't believe, have that big, bulky, if you could even remember that big, bulky Motorola phone that came out that was the size of a tissue box, one of the first mobile phones, or even the old StarTAC flip phones. We're all into our Samsung, Apple, and all the other great phones today. That's the technology you need to know when you're going after your health care. You asked me how I got involved in this. Growing up in Las Vegas, my mom and dad had a restaurant, the Venetian. And when we moved into our first home that my mom and dad ever owned, it was about 1,200 square feet, had paper-thin walls, 1 bathroom, 2 bedroom, and I doubt it had very much insulation. And I remember vividly one night, my mom and dad yelling, which I'm an only child. I never heard my mom and dad yell. And I didn't even have to go out of my bedroom to hear this very, very fierce discussion. My mom had donated some money for St. Anne's Church on Maryland Parkway for a building fund. And my father said, "How can you possibly donate money? We don't even have enough money for the rent." And the argument was going back and forth, and finally my mother said, "God will take care of it." And that discussion was over. And my father never said another word. And to this day, if you go into St. Anne's Catholic Church, there's a little plaque, Mr. and Mrs. Lou Ruvo. Fast forward.
It's okay. Thank you.
Fast forward, I was working in my mom and dad's restaurant. The time I was 14, I started washing dishes and